You thought the Boondocks was canceled because it was too edgy, too offensive, maybe just too controversial to air in this sensitive world? Nah, the truth cuts way deeper. The Jimmy Rebel episode wasn't just offensive. It was dangerous, but not for the reasons networks claimed. It was dangerous because it held up a mirror to America's favorite pastimes: racism, exploitation, and the way black pain gets packaged as entertainment for profit. Think about it. Why would a show built on satire suddenly be silenced for doing what it's always done? Why that episode? Why that character? Because Jimmy Rebel wasn't a cartoon villain. He was a composite of real-life figures in country music, Hollywood, and beyond. The ones who built empires off black suffering while smiling all the way to the bank. But let's be honest here. This isn't just about TV executives or BET pulling an episode. This is about us too. Our culture, our habits, our tolerance for laughing at the things that hurt us most. The Boondocks wasn't just showing us the system, it was showing us ourselves. And that's a level of truth most people aren't ready to sit with. In this video, we're gonna break it all down. Why that episode had to be buried. How media has always been used as a weapon against black minds. And most importantly, what it says about us as consumers when we laugh instead of fight back. By the end, you'll see why the Boondocks wasn't just a cartoon. It was a cultural warning that too many of us ignored. If this is hitting already, smash that subscribe button. Every week we break down the real game hidden in the culture, and trust me, this one goes deep. You probably remember Uncle Ruckus for his self-hate, wild rants, and straight-up offensive energy. But when the Boondocks paired him with Jimmy Rebel, a racist country singer with lyrics so foul, they couldn't even air the episode in the US. It wasn't just about shock value. It was Aaron Magruder pointing the finger at an ugly truth in black culture and media. Racism sells. Jimmy Rebel wasn't just a random character. He was a composite, a stand-in for real figures in country, rock, and even pop music whose brands were built on anti-blackness. Think about artists from earlier decades dropping songs with racial slurs, stereotypes, or coded language. Some of these tracks hit radio waves, sold millions, and cemented their place in music history while contributing to the dehumanization of black people. Magruder used satire to expose this cycle. By making Jimmy Rebel cartoonishly overt in his racism, he forced the audience to ask, wait, but aren't we still supporting artists who do this in less obvious ways? Comedy makes it harder to look away. Here's the genius. Because it was animated and funny, people couldn't write it off as a serious rant or lecture. Comedy softened the blow just enough to sneak the medicine in, but it still hit hard. We laughed at Ruckus idolizing a man who openly hated him, but it also felt familiar. How many black artists, fans, and influencers still idolize industries, labels, and brands that exploit their culture while disrespecting the community? Huey would have called it what it is: mental programming through media. Take a second to look at today's charts. While overtly racist lyrics may not dominate anymore, the undertone hasn't left. Stereotypes about black violence and hypersexuality flood mainstream rap. Rock and country artists have faced backlash for racially charged remarks, but sales barely take a hit. Even pop stars have borrowed urban aesthetics for clout while avoiding any real support for black communities. Magruder was saying, this isn't just history, it's the present. Lesson for today: learn what you're consuming. If you're a black creator, fan, or consumer, ask yourself, who owns the labels? Who profits from the pain in the lyrics? Are we supporting art or reinforcing systems designed to keep us distracted and divided? The uncomfortable truth is that systems thrive when you buy in without asking questions. Jimmy Rebel may have been a cartoon, but his legacy lives in every song, show, and stream that's engineered to sell a version of blackness that's palatable for others, but destructive for us. Real quick, if this is hitting, smash that subscribe button. We drop cultural breakdowns like this every week to decode the game you were never taught. The Jimmy Rebel episode got banned because it cut too deep, not because it was false, but because it was too true. The question is, will you keep laughing it off? Or will you start looking at the music and media you consume with new eyes? So let's talk about Black History Month. Sounds empowering, right? Schools play MLK speeches, social media timelines fill up with Rosa Parks quotes, and corporations slap Pan-African colors on their logos. But the Boondocks called it out for what it often is, a watered-down highlight reel designed to keep us docile. Remember when Riley looked confused about why he had to learn the same 3 facts every year? That wasn't just comedy, that was truth. In the show, Huey's deep knowledge of history made him seem like an outsider, even to his own family. He wasn't content to memorize sanitized narratives like slavery ended and everything was fine, or MLK had a dream, now racism is over. He wanted to know about the leaders who were too radical for textbooks, the government programs that sabotaged Black progress, and the uncomfortable truths about how history was rewritten to erase resistance. Meanwhile, schools, and even some parents, were happy with surface-level education. Here's the hard truth. When Black history is reduced to feel-good sound bites, it's no longer a tool for empowerment. It becomes a pacifier. Because when you don't know the full story of how systems were built to keep you out, you can't see how those systems still work today. You blame yourself for structural problems. You stay trapped thinking, this is just how it is. Many of you watching grew up hearing Black history only in February, as if 400+ years of resilience, brilliance, and struggle can fit in 28 days. Ask yourself, how much of what you learned was the real story? Or was it history made safe enough for TV specials and corporate marketing? If the only Black heroes you know are the ones approved by mainstream America, then you're missing the blueprint for true power. Magruder was telling us through Huey, they'll give you a dream to sell you a nightmare. So what's the fix? Study the full spectrum of Black history, the wins and the betrayals. Pass it down uncensored, and use it to build systems that can't be erased. At first glance, the Gangstalicious storyline feels like pure satire, a funny parody of rap culture and celebrity scandals. But if you were paying attention, the Boondocks was pulling back the curtain on something far bigger. How Black icons get rewritten, repackaged, and sold back to us in ways that keep us powerless. Gangstalicious is Riley's favorite rapper, but everything about him is a performance. His hypermasculine image hides his real identity. His music promotes chaos and consumption. His scandals are just another way to sell records. Sound familiar? That's because the Boondocks was holding a mirror to the real world, where many Black artists get caught in the same trap. Create controversy. Sell an image of violence and excess. Never own your masters or your message. Huey saw through it, but Riley? He absorbed every lyric, every chain, every gangsta pose, and became a product of it. This isn't just about rappers. It's about how entire Black legacies get twisted. Tupac, once a revolutionary thinker, now often reduced to thug life merch. Malcolm X, feared in life, softened in documentaries. MLK, radicalized against poverty and war in his final years, but sold back to us as a harmless dreamer. The same system that silences you in life will market you in death. Gangstalicious showed us, when you don't control your image, your legacy gets edited. That's why ownership matters. That's why narrative control is wealth. And that's why we have to question what we're fed, even if it sounds like a banger. How many of y'all watching grew up repeating lyrics about murder and money, but never learned about Black Wall Street or Marcus Garvey? That's not an accident, that's programming. The Boondocks was telling you, don't just vibe, verify. Don't just consume, create. Gangstalicious was more than a joke. He was a warning. Real Black icons often get whitewashed, commodified, or erased. True legacy means ownership, not applause, and a cultural shift they were never prepared for. This isn't just about jokes. It's about trauma, survival, and assimilation. Think about it. Robert grew up in an America where survival meant fitting in, not fighting back. He witnessed racism up close, though was taught to keep his head down, go along to get along, and take whatever scraps the system offered. He internalized those lessons. So now, in his old age, Robert is out of place in a world demanding change. Instead of challenging systems like Huey, or even chasing clout like Riley, he's focused on comfort. The Boondocks paints him as part of the silent generation of Black Americans. Survived Jim Crow, raised families in hostile environments, did what they had to do, but often at the cost of their own healing. That survival mode created blind spots, passivity, choosing peace over progress, ignorance, accepting media narratives without questioning them, resentment toward younger generations who demand more. Many of us watching know a Robert Freeman in real life. The uncle who tells you to stay out of white folks' business. The grandmother who won't talk about her youth because the memories are too raw. The older black man who dismisses protests with, "It won't change nothing." They're not weak, they're wounded. And that wound gets passed down silently, generation after generation. In The Block is Hot, Robert spends more time watching BET than questioning what it's feeding him. Instead of fighting for Huey's media literacy, he laughs at coonery and chaos on TV. This isn't just humor. It's a critique of how many elders became passive consumers of the very systems oppressing them. If you don't process the pain, you'll normalize it. If you don't teach the struggle, your grandchildren will inherit only the trauma, not the wisdom. Huey's frustration with Robert isn't about disrespect. It's about urgency. If you don't remember, they'll rewrite it, and then it's gone. How many of you grew up with parents or grandparents who never talked about their battles, who seemed strong but couldn't show vulnerability? That's the erased generation. The question is, will you let it keep erasing you? The 1619 Project, bringing hidden Black history into classrooms. Hidden Colors, shining light on African contributions to civilization. Community oral histories, families reclaiming their stories before they're lost forever. Robert isn't a joke, he's a warning. Silence doesn't protect, it erases. The next generation's wealth includes emotional and historical healing. When the Boondocks went after BET in the Block is Hot and BET Sucks episodes, it wasn't random satire. It was a full-blown call-out of media corporations as cultural predators. Granddad loves his BET shows, but Huey sees through them. This isn't just bad TV, this is mind control. BET became a stand-in for all media entities feeding Black audiences a steady diet of stereotypes, thugs, gold diggers, broken families, distractions, endless drama, reality TV nonsense, low expectations, no focus on wealth, health, or empowerment. And why? Because controversy and coonery are profitable. The show's satire of BET's leadership wasn't just a joke. It reflected the very real history of executives exploiting Black culture while offering nothing of value back. The rise of reality shows like Love and Hip Hop over documentaries or educational programming. Music videos glorifying fast money, violence, and materialism while owned by corporations outside the community. News networks focusing on crime in Black neighborhoods but ignoring systemic issues like redlining or school funding. If you control what people watch, you control how they see themselves. And if you control their self-image, you control their decisions, their spending, their voting, their dreams. Huey wasn't being dramatic when he said, "Turn off that trash. They're programming you." He was dropping a survival code. How much of what you think about your community came from TV or music? Be honest. Are you a consumer of culture or a creator of it? So what do we do with this truth? By now you're asking, okay, so what's the solution? Good. That's the Huey Freeman energy we need. Huey never just critiqued, he strategized. Let's talk strategy. Social media, TV, music. These are pipelines into your mind. If they're full of garbage, your mindset and bank account will reflect it. Unfollow toxic influencers. Subscribe to Black creators teaching wealth, history, and health. Replace endless scrolling with intentional learning. Don't settle for the sanitized Black History Month narratives. Read Powernomics by Dr. Claude Anderson. Watch Hidden Colors and the 1619 Project. Ask elders for family stories before they're lost. If media manipulates us, why not create media that empowers? Tyler Perry Studios, first Black-owned major film studio. Killer Mike's Greenwood Bank, a financial safe space for Black wealth. Issa Rae's Insecure, proof we can tell our own stories without filters. The answer isn't to beg for representation, it's to own the camera. You have a phone in your pocket, that's a studio, that's a broadcast tower. What's stopping you from creating the stories you needed growing up? The Boondocks wasn't banned because it was funny. It was banned because it was honest. It dared to say, media is a weapon. History is being rewritten. And Black Huey Freeman's mission was clear. Learn the truth, live the truth, pass it on. The question is, will you be another passive consumer like Granddad, or will you break the cycle? Drop your biggest takeaway in the comments. Hit that subscribe button. We decode hidden truths every week. Share this video with someone still plugged into the media matrix.